Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing One Piece Chapter 1104. Thank you, Daddy. And so this is Akainu Fanboy, the other guy's Geboss, and this is the Galley La Podcast. Please like and subscribe if you have not, and leave a comment because we would love to hear about you. We've been seeing more comments, and we really appreciate it. So we have a Sanji cover story, Big Brain Theory right here, where we're going to see Whole Cake Island Part 2, because we have the Whole Cake Chateau. And then Sanji will finally marry Pudding because the mouse is symbolic of him and getting over his struggles. And then he finds the girls of his dreams. And we only see one eye on the mouse, which is like kind of similar to Pudding or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you can get your Whole Cake Island too, only if Big Mom comes back.
All right. I'm against it now. All right. Yeah. So let's continue on to the chapter. So we have hype here. And Kuma is going in at Saturn right here. And we see like basically another heart-wrenching summary of Kuma's backstory and everything leading up to it. It's just a reminder how terrible it is and how he has one of the better backstories in the series. And so Saturn is not too happy about the state of Kuma still being alive and good to go.
So I just wanted to say something really quick. I thought we were going to get at least maybe a little bit more of a flashback about how Kuma escaped Saturn in the past, but because that's kind of like a big thing that might be filled out like in a Roger or Rock's flashback about how exactly that he escaped, because I think we talked about that before when the chapter happened, that it kind of just skipped ahead and we didn't get to see anything. But
yeah, so that's a good point. And then so basically Vegapunk kind of points out like, hey, didn't really give him that self-destruct mechanism, in the way you guys wanted, at least. And we see Kuma getting ready to go, and he that's a great satisfying panel though, because we get to see the hockey. And he gets in a good bam on Mr. Saturn right here. So thoughts on this panel, because I thought it was phenomenal.
This is in my top 10 panels in the whole series. Just because
that's awesome.
Just because of what led up to it, like with the flashback. It's like such a moment of catharsis, because just all the anger and pain that Kuma suffered, he's finally taking it out on basically someone who's been like putting him down his whole life, because Saturn's been involved directly with Kuma his whole life. And it's so satisfying. I would say, I don't know, the Sabody one where Luffy punches Charlos is close to this, but but this was phenomenal. He had
it coming, most people would say.
Yeah. And you laughed at me and downplayed it.
Never.
When I put Kuma in my top 30.
That was Jimper, not me.
And whatever random commenter we got. But look at this. He sent Saturn flying. Like Saturn couldn't even like stop him with whatever force he's using to stop everyone else. He sent him flying. He later on it shows that he lost, like Saturn lost an arm. It's it's so good. Kuma deserved this.
Oh no, totally. And I'm not trying to downplay Kuma. I think he has a really strong, powerful hit. But at the same time, if you look at my top 30, I didn't really think Saturn was as powerful as people made him out to be. In terms of like people are putting him top 5, top 10, or like very, very high top 10. You know what I mean? So, but this still is an impressive feat, and I also think it looks bad for Saturn right here too. Because I think there's some higher tier characters that wouldn't be affected by this. What we could think of in the series. And again, this isn't me talking about Kuma. But like, I can see people like Shanks or Akainu, or even Kizaru, I think could probably easily go into this. You know what I mean? So I think like we see the regen ability later with him and everything, you know, but like it's not super impressive. You know, and then as soon as he feels the slightest bit of pain, his abilities deactivated as well, you know. But it is kind of like a shock narratively, right, to see one of the Gorosei to get hit like this, basically, you know. And the Marines are shocked. They're like, how could a slave hurt one of the Gorosei? So I think it's like a narratively, it is like a big deal, you know, what's going on here, you know.
So I was gonna say, like the Marines say, for someone of his status to be struck by a slave, this is unprecedented. Do you think that this could be like a thing? This could be like part of the big incident that this information gets leaked out and it sparks like more revolution, showing like a former warlord of the sea and like a former slave hitting a Gorosei. Do you think that could lead to like more revolution? Because that's what I think.
Yeah, because I think the going theory here was basically that Kuma was going to self-destruct and kill Saturn, basically.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of the common theory, right? But it seems to be undercut a bit right here, because from what Vegapunk's told us, he's just made it where his will would die, and not that he would explode necessarily, right?
Yeah, basically that he would stop functioning. He still like lost all his personality, but he wouldn't even be able to move anymore.
So I think like potentially, yeah, that theory seems to be done right now. So I think that's possible is what's going to happen, because I don't know if you want to discuss it now or later, but I'm kind of more in the camp that they escape rather than they do an all-out defeat. I think there's a chance Saturn goes down this arc. Don't get me wrong. But I kind of feel like Kuma would be the one to do it. I just don't really think narratively it makes sense for Luffy to do it, you know? Maybe he could do a type of ability where he does an Arusa's shock on him and finishes him off that way, you know? Rather than like a bomb, you know what I mean? So that's kind of, he kind of sacrifices himself in the process. And because I would kind of hate it if Luffy took down Saturn, to be honest. I just kind of like when side characters get more, you know, hype in them. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think Saturn's going down this arc at all. I think best case scenario, the Straw Hats are escaping. But yeah, I don't see them beating him at this point.
It's so interesting. I'm not saying I don't know, maybe you held this earlier, but there were a lot of people that were saying the Straw Hats were going to take down Saturn, Kizaru, and the whole world government force that was here initially, and now it's kind of more like, no, they've got to get out of here.
Yeah, because I was reading, like, they have like, what was it, like 10 times more ships than like a regular Buster Call. Like they have like 100 battleships. So yeah, because I think, wasn't it Buster Call has like 5 vice admirals and then like 10 battleships or something, whereas I think
it's like
I think there's like 9 vice admirals here and then like 100 battleships. So
yeah, so yeah, a lot stronger. And so I guess like before we get into that, because I think the Kizaru discussion will help build into that more, but you know, so basically the rest of the Straw Hats get freed from the ability and everything, you know. And we see Bonnie have this heart-wrenching moment with Kuma, where Vegapunk's explaining the loss of individuality, and she's still trying to thank him and show like love for him and everything in this dark moment, right? But so it's just kind of like sad because he's gone, but beautiful because they're reunited, though in a very, very imperfect way, you know, kind of thing, in a very devastating way, you know. So I thought Kizaru's little panel there, maybe we'll have to see a different official translation, but he says, "It's over, isn't it?" I kind of been scratching my head a little bit of what that means, you know. I think it could have a double meaning with Kizaru, as with most things are. So in one sense, I kind of see it as like Kuma's dead, you know, like his personality's gone completely, or like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like another way where I'd interpret it, basically, you know.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. What were your thoughts on that?
I don't know. It is a strange panel. I think I just kind of glossed over it when I first read it because I was looking forward to the Bonnie and Kuma reunion. But I mean, later on, we get another thing from Kizaru that I'm confused of as well at the end of the chapter. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't have a take on it.
Yeah, because Sentomaru looks very happy in the next panel, you know?
Yeah.
My drastic thing is I think like maybe his faith in the Marines has been shaken up a little bit. You know, it's over, isn't it? Maybe that's why I'm not saying he's leaving the Marines, but he's definitely like after seeing that moment with him and Bonnie, it's like shaking him to his core a bit, you know? So I find that he's having a conversion in this chapter even more, I think, you know? Because like, again, like Bonnie just kind of retells everything. And so she's kind of recapping. Now you get to hear the story of Kuma from her eyes, because remember, Kizaru and Sentomaru and Vegapunk, they all heard it from Kuma, and now they're hearing it from Bonnie, right? So now it's kind of complete. And then you get that, you know, beautiful like panel right here saying like, you're the coolest person in the world. I'll never forget that. And I think Kizaru is like, he's helped facilitate this heartbreaking devastation right here, you know? And then you see this disgusting freak Saturn like kind of pop out of the rebel right here. And, you know, this is the guy he's working for, you know? And the Vegapunk's like, yeah, you know, like, this may have been the power of love, so I don't know if it was me per se, you know?
Yeah. Well, speaking of powers, there's that one panel with Vegapunk. Of course, Oda has to be as vague as possible. Vegapunk saying, it can't be what I'm thinking, can it? The Buccaneers were said to have a special characteristic beyond their strong bodies, after all. After all, your people once. It's like, just tell us. So,
hey, he's gonna explain it like he did King. Don't worry.
I mean, I have a random theory, because as far as we know, like, is it that Kuma's like a pure Buccaneer or part Buccaneer, or I forget. Was it only because he was part Buccaneer or had some lineage of it? Because if that's the case, then my theory wouldn't hold much ground. Because I was thinking the only other person that we've heard like specifically about special characteristics of their body is Blackbeard. And I'm like, could he potentially have some connection to the Buccaneers as well, and have like some sort of thing going on with his body? But
what do you think, Blackbeard's a Buccaneer?
I mean, they're kind of built the same. in a way, but I just because those are the only two like connections like with special bodies, or special characteristics of a body that has been described in the series. I mean, I think it's kind of a flimsy theory, but I just wanted to make that connection.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's because I think he has pretty pure blood. I don't think they give any indication that he has any like mixed lineage with him.
I'm just trying to remember if they said anything specific about like Kuma's mother. I don't remember if there was any caveat. I mean, we could be corrected. Anyone correct us if we're wrong on this point, but yeah, no, that's definitely interesting. Yeah, because there is something going on with him that we're not entirely sure about, for sure. But one point I do want to get kind of like just a narrative irony point. I do want to point out how the most loyal warlord to the world government was the one who was like the first one to ever hit the Gorosei, you know, out of all of them, you know. So I thought that was kind of cool, you know, just like narratively there, you know. It's called the dog of the government, but then he's like the only one that actually hurt one of them, you know, out of all the warlords. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And so when we kind of get to Saturn's regen ability right here, and so yeah, he's going after Kuma, and then Sanji like comes and gets in the way. Finally, a good Sanji moment without him getting embarrassed, and immediately the next panel. So I appreciate that. Like
yeah,
Sanji,
he saved that for Frankie.
Yeah,
this chapter.
Exactly. So, because that's usually how Sanji is. He does something cool and then he gets embarrassed like immediately right after. Like saving the Straw Hats from Doflamingo, Dressrosa. One example, or fighting Verigo and his like leg gets cracked up. But honestly, he's had nothing but W's this arc so far. I think back with the Jinbei Seraphim thing. So or S Shark, right? And so that was a great like perfect Sanji character moment in. He just comes, he intercepts, it's great, right? And then so like you're saving a girl, that's perfect character moment. And then we have Frankie coming in, because he's thinking about Kuma saving the Sunny, right? Again, building off another good character moment right here, but then we see Kizaru recognizing their growth too. So all that saying, I'm gonna have to do it because it's a day in the Y. This is so much better than Wano because we actually have the Straw Hats teaming up, full combos, and they're building off their previously built character without Kinemon or Kiku running on the panels, taking away screen time. You know what I mean?
Kanjuro dying 3 times or whatever.
Yeah, this is just so good to see. You see mature grown Straw Hats having their character dynamics building off naturally from their character previously from different story arcs too.
And
phenomenal. I like it.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say about Sanji is that I think once he realized, like, I've noticed, like, with Bonnie in particular, this arc, he's treating her like less like pervy than he usually treats like other women. I feel maybe I don't think that he knows that she's like 12, but maybe Oda's saying like he seems almost like more big brotherly. Yeah. Like don't upset, or I'm not gonna let you upset Bonnie anymore.
Kind of like Otama when he fed her. Was it udon? No, it wasn't udon. Blanking on the food. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Though.
Yeah. It's kind of like more of that and everything. And honestly, in a Frankie moment, bro, I love it. Like Frankie rarely gets these moments, so this is great. Even though his fight was like one of the best fights of the series of Wano last time. But
I mean, Frankie, I don't think really cares because he like ran over Big Mom with his motorcycle. He just goes.
He just goes for all the big guns.
Yeah, he does a kill shot. Although I've heard, I've seen people comment like, really another radical beam. Like it's all that he really does post time skip, except for his fight with Senior Pink, which I think a lot of people agree is his best fight.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to see him just go though. I mean, like radical beam. I mean, it's doing some damage to him, like whatever, relatively. But
yeah, I
it's interesting. Sorry, go.
I was gonna say I kind of wish Kizaru said something about like him stealing the laser or whatever from his powers. But yeah.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people were speculating that at least some of the characters are going to get the special light gloves or something like that to go after Kizaru, but so far no one's picked them up, and he just going in on Frankie right here.
I completely forgot about that until you brought it up.
Yeah. Chekhov's gloves, I guess. Not Chekhov's gun, but Chekhov's gloves that are going to be around here, but we'll see. But Kizaru, again, with his unclear justice, you see him feeling guilt, and then he pops back in and hits Frankie, and gets him pretty bad, too. So,
yeah. I did want to say before we forgot, Luffy, they made a specific point, like, Luffy's disappeared. So, we don't know where he went. Like, last time we saw him, he was getting food from Uber Eats or whatever. So we don't know what's happening.
Eats.
Yeah. Light speed delivery. But who knows what's going on with that too. But speaking of Kizaru, what did you think of his whole final comment at the end. Like, he's talking with Vegapunk. Vegapunk's like, "You're a sad man, Kizaru. Have you no heart?" And then Kizaru says, I should have brought a darker pair of shades. I'm going to embarrass myself at this rate."
I think he's like about to cry kind of thing.
That's what I kind of thought, but it's like,
yeah,
okay. This is kind of more characterization about he just seems very conflicted about all of this. But again, I can't tell if he's serious or not, or if he's trolling. You know?
Yeah. I think this might be genuine because I think that Bonnie Kuma moment, you know, because we saw that moment where he like was actually like really disconcerted when he first heard Kuma's first story, and you kind of see his face get all shaded out and everything, you know, and I think this is even more heartbreaking than that moment on an objective level, you know. So what it does remind me, Jimper's most hated film Z, but it reminds me of that last moment where Kizaru says "Sayonara, Zephyr Sensei," and he hits him with like all those lights, and you don't see Kizaru's eyes during that whole thing. They're just like completely like shaded out, right? And then you see like Doberman cry in the next scene, right, and everything. So that's what it kind of, and I think it's like heavily applied. Kizaru's like maybe crying as he's killing the sensei during that time. Yeah. So that's what reminded me of this moment right here.
That's a good connection. I know you're a big fan of that movie, so
it's really good, you know, because I have good taste. I'm like Jimper, yeah. So but I don't know. So that's how I interpreted the panel, because I think he's more, let's just be real, better fighter than Dragon, more well developed character than Dragon, and more harder working than Dragon, even though he's like the pothead of the Admiral.
You just wait until Dragon pulls a Shanks at the end of Marineford. He's gonna stop all the Buster Call.
You mean Egghead?
Yeah. He's he's gonna come in with his wind ability and blow all, because
he was missing there back. Too.
Yeah,
he didn't do anything in Marineford either. I just want to add that to the record. But so I do like the panel though of Egghead being surrounded. There is kind of one thing I do want to bring up that hasn't been well, I like the irony, reduce everything into ashes in the name of justice. So it's like, not to do justice, it's tyranny. But you know, because he says like, there's a dictator who studied the time of secrets of the world, survivor of the bloodline that could be a sting, and a pirate who awakened the power of the ancient god that this island has been completely infested. So it's like, all right, again, it's like rewriting history. But what I find interesting is also, where have the Seraphim been? Like, I guess they're still in prison, right?
Yeah, I think they're still locked up. Because York is locked up too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we still need to see what's happening, like, because Lucci's fighting Zoro right now.
Kaku's still out of commission, but he could get free.
Yeah. And last time I saw, like, Robin was injured, and I think they were taking her to the Sunny, a majority of the people. So, yes. But yeah, and Atlas is bringing Kuma along, so who knows what's gonna happen with Kuma? Because I thought that he was gonna get blown up. He was gonna blow himself up, but potentially he might be coming with them.
Okay, so do you want to do final predictions then, kind of for at least for where we're at now? For me, I think Kuma sacrifices himself and either kills or deeply injures Saturn, because I think that would be, you know, a huge scale news right there, is that a former warlord of the sea kills one of the Gorthe. Like, that's pretty big news, potentially there, because I don't think Luffy's going to defeat Kizaru, because I think Kizaru is more or less on their side. Oh, and sorry, for the record, people that said like Luffy basically one-shot a Kizaru right there, that is, he's fine. I just want to throw that out there. Yeah, he took a hit. He's good. But anyway,
he's just trolling a little. He got the wind knocked out of him.
He got the wind knocked out of him, right? Like Dragon. But so I think that's just kind of my opinion right there. I think Straw Hats are going to have to escape. Kuma sacrifices himself to either deeply injured and or kill Saturn, because I think narratively the best person to take out Saturn is Kuma.
Yeah.
And I think it would fulfill the big news category. Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that would definitely be big news. But yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Except for, I don't know, I can see Saturn providing more for the story if he survives. But maybe Kuma like sacrifices himself to help them escape.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But yeah, I mean, Kuma is pretty durable of himself, because like he tanked like the Akainu stuff and the stab from Saturn and everything. So
yeah,
who knows how many people he could theoretically like hold off for the Straw Hats before going down.
Yeah, especially if he didn't reverse his shock.
Yeah,
you know, it would be kind of funny if like he did that and Kizaru's like, sayonara, you know, Saturn, and he just kind of dips out and lets him get exploded right there or something, you know, because I don't think Kizaru is really digging his boss too much right now, you know.
Yeah,
because I don't think he's going to turn on him, but I don't think he's going to defend him to the most of his ability right now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but yeah, so everyone, leave your comments. Let us know what you think about all this. You know, pretty hype chapter. No break next week.
Yes.
Honestly, just every Egghead chapter hits well. Also, watch the anime, because the anime has been has been doing a good job so far in this arc. Really enjoyed the first 2 episodes so far. But yeah, any closing thoughts, G-Bots?
No, no break next week. Looking forward to next week's chapter.
Yes, you. All right. Well, please like and subscribe if you have not. This is the Galley La Podcast, and we're signing off. See you later. Peace.
See ya.